we've been speculating for a while when this cash-in was going to happen. We knew it had to, you would think it would happen after Roman Reigns lost the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, because no way is Roman losing to a cash-in. Turns out Austin Theory is not going to win the championship with a cash-in either, because he cashed in this past Monday on Monday Night Raw during an open challenge for the United States Championship and lost. I put a poll up here, Ralph, on our community page, and I asked, was this the worst booking decision Triple H has made since taking over creative? And 70% of people voted yes, it was. Do you agree with the 70% saying this was the worst booking decision by Triple H since he's taken over creative, of Austin Theory failing the Money in the Bank cash-in?
I do. The reason I think that is because I don't think at its core this is a bad idea or a bad concept. I just think they needed more time to establish that title. I think they needed to establish the legitimacy of the title reign. Like, if they were going to do that, Seth Rollins, like, he's saying that it's the top title, but most people still consider that title to be a mid-level title. Like, it is not the equivalent of Roman Reigns' title. And, you know, why would you cash in on Seth when you can just go and cash in on Roman? So I don't think at its core it's a bad concept or a bad idea. I just think that they rushed it. I think they could have certainly added layers to it. Like, maybe they could have set it up week by week where he's talking about how he's just obsessed with winning a title or something. Like, just obsessed with the fact that he's got to prove himself after losing so many matches in a row. There could be other things going on that we don't know about. Maybe he's hurt. Maybe he is causing backstage issues. Those things you never really know about.
Maybe he's not the guy that Vince McMahon saw him as, that Triple H.
See, I don't agree with that. I think lesser men have been champions and cashed in successfully. I don't see anything about Theory that makes me say he can't be a top guy. I don't know if he can be a breakout star, but when you compare him to some guys that held that title and what he's doing now, he's had more charisma and he's a better wrestler than some of them. I don't know. Something's off with that. Maybe it's just a hard reset.
I don't think it's the worst decision Triple H has done since he started taking over creative. I think the stuff that's been going on with Damage Control has been worse. And there's back and forth of, you know, Dakota Kai and Io Sky lose the women's titles, then they win them 2 weeks later. Then they lose them again, and then they win them back a week later. And this like 50-50 booking of what's going on between Damage Control and Bianca and Alexa Bliss and Asuka. You have Bianca Belair beating essentially all three members of Damage Control in a ladder match. Then Bianca Belair beats Bayley in a last woman standing match. And now we expect Damage Control to at least do something in War Games to beat Bianca Belair. That has been worse, I think. I honestly, like, I like Bayley. I like Io Sky, Dakota Kai, Alexa, and Oz. Like, every woman involved in this storyline. But this story, it's not even a story. This, like, if Bischoff has to point out AEW for their excuses, this is an excuse. This is just, we need to get these 6 women on TV, and here's how we're going to do it. There's no story to it. It's absolutely 50-50 booking that Vince McMahon was known for constantly the last few years. It's been terrible. And I understand, the Bianca part isn't the 50-50 booking. It's more Alexa, Asuka, Dakota, and Io. I get that part, but it's just ridiculous. It's not good. And honestly, I understand why people think what happened with Theory was a bad booking decision. But what it did was, one, it established the U.S. title as the top title on Monday Night Raw, which the top guy on Monday Night Raw currently holds in Seth Rollins. And the guy before that, you could make an argument, is one of the top guys in Bobby Lashley. That title has some prestige for a while now. It's kind of flown under the radar because of what's going on with Roman Reigns. You know, that United States Championship is a pretty protected title right now. And as I've said, since they unified the titles and everyone's like, it's a bad idea. If you have one heavyweight champion, one tag team champion, one women's champion that all go on both brands, And then you have the 2 TV titles, the US and the Intercontinental titles defended each and every week. It's going to work. And that's basically what they're doing right now. Gunther is having tons of defenses on television. Seth did the open challenge. Lashley had a few TV defenses. That's not the problem. The problem is Roman's not on Raw nearly enough as he needs to be. And that's why people think there still needs to be 2 separate titles. No, there doesn't. Roman just needs to show up on Raw more, or they put the belt on someone that's willing to go on both shows. Because you even see the Usos go on Raw plenty of times. Yeah. Roman just never goes on Raw, except for when it's like the go home to a pay-per-view. That's usually when he shows up, or it's at a big venue like Madison Square Garden. But he's never going to Raw. And that's what's hurting this one champion situation.
I don't know if that hurts it. I mean, I think if anything, I think having just that U.S. title as the main focal point, I mean, what would that do? If Roman shows up, it just, again, it kind of shows that there's a more prestigious title than whatever other one's being defended. I think that Seth should start calling him out.
And who knows, he might start doing that. We don't know. We absolutely don't know.